Through the winter time they argued. When summer began, it was not raining, the meadows were dry, the pastures dwindled. Into the fields of his brother Able, his flocks drove, from the furrows and the canals to drink water. By this Cain was angered. To move the flocks away, his brother he commanded. Farmer and shepherd, brother and brother, words of accusation uttered. They spat on each other, with their fists they fought. Greatly enraged, Cain a stone picked up, with it Able in the head he struck. Again and again he hit him until Able fell, his blood from him gushing. When Cain his brother's blood saw, "Able, Able, my brother," he shouted. Motionless on the ground did Able remain. From him his soul had departed. By the brother whom he had killed Cain remained. For a long time he sat crying. Titi it was who of the killing was the first to know by a premonition. In a dream vision as she was sleeping, Abel's blood she saw. In the hand of Cain it was. Adapa from his sleep she awakened. Her dream vision to him she told. A heavy sorrow fills my heart. Did something terrifying happen? So did Titi to Adapa say. Greatly agitated she was. In the morning the two from Eridu departed. To the whereabouts of Cain and Able they went. In the field they found Cain. By the dead Able he was still seated. A great cry of agony Titi shouted. Adapa spread mud on his head. "What have you done? What have you done?" To Cain they shouted. Silence was Cain's answer. To the ground he threw himself and wept. To Eridu city Adapa returned. What had occurred to the Lord Enki Adapa told. With fury Enki confronted Cain. "Accursed you shall be," to him he said. "From the Eden you must depart. Among Anunnaki and civilized earthlings you shall not stay." As to Able in the fields, his body cannot for the wild birds remain. As the Anunnaki custom is, he in a grave below a stone pile shall be buried. How Able to bury Enki to Adapa and Titi showed, for the custom to them was not known. For 30 days and 30 nights was Able by his parents mourned. To Eridu for judgment Cain was brought. The exile sentence to pronounce Enki wished. For his deed, Cain himself must be slain. So did Marduk with anger say, "Let the 7 who judge be assembled." So did Ninurta of Cain the mentor say. "Whoever of such an assembling ever heard," Marduk shouted, "that for one not from Nibiru Anunnaki leaders shall to judge be called? Is it not enough that one by Ninurta mentored the one by me favored has killed? Is it not that as Ninurta Anzu did vanquish, so did Cain against his brother rise? Like the fate of Anzu Cain's fate should be, his life breath to be extinguished. So did Marduk in anger to Enki, Enlil and Ninurta say." Ninurta by the words of Marduk was saddened. "Silence, not words," his answer was. "Let me with Marduk my son words in private have." To them Enki said, when in Enki's private chambers he and Marduk were, my son, my son." To Marduk Enki softly spoke, "Your agony is great. Let us not agony with agony compound. A secret that is on my heart has heavily emboldened me to tell you. On a day of observation among the earthlings, as by the river I strolled, 2 earthling maidens my fancy caught. By them from my seed were Adapa and Titi conceived. A new kind of earthling, a civilized man, by that upon the earth was brought. Whether they to procreate were able, our king Anu in doubt was. By the birth of Cain and Able were Anu and the council on Nibiru convinced. A new phase of Anunnaki presence on this planet was welcomed and approved. Now that Able has been slain, and if Cain too shall be extinguished, satiation to an end would come, mutinies will be repeated, all that was achieved shall crumble. No wonder that to Able a liking you took, the son of your half-brother Adapa he was. Now on the other one have pity, let the line of Adapa survive." So did Enki with sadness a secret to Marduk his son he revealed. By the revelation Marduk was at first astounded, then by laughter he was overcome. "Of your love-making prowess much to me was rumored, father. Now of that convinced I am. Indeed let Cain's life be spared, to the ends of the earth let him be banished." So did Marduk, from anger to laughter changing, to his father say. In Eridu judgment upon Cain by Enki was pronounced. Eastward to a land of wandering for his evil deed Cain must depart, that his life must be spared, he and his generations shall be distinguished. By Ningish Zida was the life essence of Cain altered. That his face a beard should not grow, Cain's life essence and genetic code Ningish Zida changed. With his sister Awan as a spouse, Cain from the Eden departed. To the land of cold wanderings he set his course. Now the Anunnaki sat, and among themselves wondered, without Abel, without Cain, who shall for us the grains grow and bread make? Who shall be the shepherd, the ewes multiply, wool for clothing provide? Let by Adapa and Titi more proliferation be, so did the Anunnaki say. With the blessing of Enki, Adapa his spouse Titi birthed again and again. One daughter, another daughter, each time again and again were born. In the 95th Shah, a new son Adapa and Titi finally had. Sati, he who life binds again, Titi named him. By him were the generations of Adapa counted. In all, 30 sons and 30 daughters Adapa and Titi had. Of them tillers of the land and shepherds for the Anunnaki gods toiled. By them did satiation to Anunnaki gods and civilized earthlings come back into fruition. In the 97th Shah, to Sati a son by his spouse Azura was born. By the name Enshi in the annals he was recorded. Master of humanity meant his name. By Adapa his father writing and numbers he was made to understand, and who the Anunnaki gods were. And all about Nibiru by Adapa Enshi was told. To Nibruki. By the sons of Enlil he was taken, secrets of the Anunnaki gods him they taught. How the perfumed oils for anointing Nana, Enlil's on earth the eldest, him showed. How the elixir from the Inbu fruits to prepare Ishkur, Enlil's youngest, him instructed. It was then that by this time the civilized man called the Anunnaki gods and worshipped them and exchanged offerings for blessings. Thereafter to Enshi by his sister Noam a son was born. Kunin, he of the kilns, his name had the meaning. For by Niburta in Bad Tibira he was tutored. Of furnace and kiln there he learned, how with bitumen's fires to make, how to smelt and refine he was taught. In the smelting and refining of gold for Nibiru, he and his offspring toiled. In the 98th Shah did this matter come about. Now this is the account of the generations of Adapa after Cain was exiled, and the heavenly journeys of Enkime and the death of Adapa. In the 99th Shah to Kunin, a son was born. By Mualit, a half-sister of Kunin, he was conceived. Malalu, he who plays, she named him. In music and song he excelled. For him, Ninurta a stringed harp made, a flute for him he shaped. Hymns to Ninurta Malalu played, with his daughters before Ninurta they sang. The spouse of Malalu, the daughter of his father's brother was, Dana was her name. In the 100th Shah, since the count on earth had begun, a son to Malalu and Dana was born, their firstborn he was. Irid, he of the sweet waters, his mother Dana him named. It was him Dumuzi how wells to dig had taught, for flocks in distant meadows water was to be provided. It was there, by the wells in the meadows, that shepherds and maidens gathered, where espousing and proliferation by civilized mankind exceedingly abounded. In his days the Ajiji to earth were more frequently coming. To observe and watch from the heavens they increasingly abandoned. To watch and see what on earth was transpiring they increasingly desired. To be with them on Mars Enki Marduk beseeched. To watch and see what on earth was transpiring Marduk more fervently wished. At a well in the meadows did his spouse meet. Baraka was her name, the daughter of his mother's brother she was. At the conclusion of the 102nd Shah, a son to them was born, by the name Enkimi, by Enkimi understanding in the annals he was called. Wise and intelligent he was, numbers he quickly understood. About the heavens and all matters celestial, he was constantly curious. To him the Lord Enki took a liking, secrets once to Adapa revealed to him he told. Of the family of the sun and the 12 celestial gods Enki him was teaching, and how the months by the moon were counted and the years by the sun, and how by Nibiru the Shahs were counted, and how the counts by Enki were combined, how the Lord Enki the circle of the heavens to 12 parts divided, a constellation to each one how Enki assigned, 12 stations in a grand circle he arranged with tablets of destiny, how to honor the 12 Anunnaki great leaders by names the stations were called. To explore the heavens, Enkime was eager. 2 celestial journeys he did make. And this is the account of Enkime's journeys to the heavens, and how the Ajiji troubles and intermarriages by Marduk were started. To be with Marduk in the landing place Enkime was sent. From there, Marduk in a rocket ship to the moon did him take. There what Marduk from his father Enki had learned to Enkime he did teach. When to earth Enkime returned, to be with Utu in Sipar, the place of the celestial chariots, he was sent. There, a tablet for writing what he was learning by Utu to Enkime was given. Utu in his bright abode, a prince of earthlings him installed. The rites him he taught, the functions of priesthood to begin. In Sipar with his spouse Edini, a half-sister, Enkime resided. To them in the 104th Shah a son was born, Matushal his mother him named, who by the bright waters raised the name meant. It was after that Enkime on his second journey to the heavens went. This time too Marduk was his mentor and companion. In a celestial chariot heavenward they soared, toward the sun, and away from it they circled. To visit the Igigi on Mars by Marduk he was taken. To him the Igigi a liking was taken, of civilized earthlings from him they learned. Of him it is in the annals said, that to the heavens he departed, that in the heavens he stayed till the end of his days. Before Enkime for the heavens departed, all that in the heavens he was taught. In writings Enkime a record made, for his sons to know he wrote it. All that is in the heavens in the family of the sun he wrote down, and about the quarters of the earth and its lands and its rivers too. To the hands of Matushal, his firstborn son, the writings he entrusted, with his brothers Ragim and Gaidad to study and abide by. In the 104th Shah was Matushal born. To the Igigi troubles and what Marduk had done, he was a witness. By his spouse Ednat, a son to Matushal was born. Lumach, mighty man, was his name. In his days conditions on earth became harsher. The toilers in field and meadow raised complaints. As a workmaster, the Anunnaki Lumach appointed, the quotas to enforce, the rations to be reduced. In his days, it was that Adapa his death time attained. And when Adapa knew that his days to an end were coming, let all my sons and sons of sons assemble themselves to me. He said, that before I die I may bless them, and words to them speak before I die. And when Sati and the sons of the sons had gathered, where is Cain, my firstborn? Adapa of them all asked, let him be fetched. To them all he said. Before the Lord Enkisati his father's wish presented, what to be done of the Lord he asked. Enki then Ninurta summoned, let the banished one, of whom the mentor you were, to Adapa's deathbed be brought. In his bird of heaven, Ninurta betook himself, to the land of wandering he flew. Over the lands he roamed, from the skies for Cain he searched. And when he him found, like on eagle's wings, Cain to Adapa he brought. When of his son's arrival, Adapa was informed, let Cain and Sati before me come. Adapa said. Before their father the two came, Cain the firstborn on the right, Sati on the left. And the eyesight of Adapa having failed, for recognition his sons' faces he touched. And the face of Cain on the right was beardless, and the face of Sati on the left with beard was. And Adapa put his right hand on the head of Sati, the one on the left, and he blessed him and said, of your seed shall the earth be filled, and of your seed as a tree with 3 branches, mankind a great calamity shall survive. And he put his left hand on the head of Cain on his right, and to him said, for your sin of your birthright you are deprived, but of your seed 7 eastern nations shall come. In a realm set apart they shall thrive, distant lands they shall inhabit. But having your brother with a stone killed, by a stone will be your end. And when Adapa finished these words saying, his hands dropped and he sighed and said, now summon my spouse Titi, and all the sons and all the daughters. And after my spirit leaves me, to my birthplace by the river and house of life carry me, and with my face toward the rising sun there bury me. Like a wounded beast Titi cried out, to her knees by Adapa's side she fell. And the 2 sons of Adapa, Cain and Sati, in a cloth his body wrapped. In a cave by the banks of the river, by Titi shown, Adapa they buried. In the midst of the 93rd Shah was he born. By the end of the 108th he died. A long life for an earthling he had. The life cycle of Enki he did not have. And after Adapa was buried, Cain to his mother and brother farewell bade. Ninurta in his bird of heaven to the land of wandering him returned. And in a distant realm near the Asiatic peaks, Cain had sons and daughters. And he for them a city built, and as he was building, by a falling stone he was killed. In the Aidin Lumach as a workmaster the Anunnaki served. In the days of Lumach did Marduk and the Igigi intermarried with the children of men. Mankind proliferates, Adapa's line serves as royalty. Defying Enlil, Marduk espouses and marries an earthling female. Celestial disturbances and climate changes affect Mars. The LGGI decide to all descend to Earth, seize children of men's daughters as their wives. The promiscuous Enki begets a new human son named Ziusudra. Droughts and pestilences cause suffering on Earth. Enlil sees it as fated retribution and wants to return home. Ninhursag, who aged by Earth's cycles, also wants to return home. A mystery emissary that was sent by Creator of all warns them not to defy their destiny. Signs increase of a coming calamitous deluge. Most Anunnaki begin to depart back to Nibiru. Enlil enforces a plan to let mankind perish. Enki and Ninhursag start to preserve Earth's seeds of life. The remaining Anunnaki prepare for the day of the deluge and great flood. It will wipe out all of the rebellious Anunnaki and men. Nergal, Lord of the lower world, is to issue the warning. In the days of Lumak did Marduk and the Igigi with earthlings intermarry. In those days on Earth, the hardships were increasing. In those days on Lamu, also known as Mars, with dryness and dust, was the planet enveloped. The Anunnaki who decree the fates, Enlil and Enki and Ninhursag, with each other consulted. What conditions on Earth and on Mars were altering, they wondered. On the sun flarings they observed, in the net forces of Earth and Mars there were disruptions. In the Abzu, at the tip the white land facing, instruments far observing they installed. In the charge of Nergal, the son of Enki, and his daughter Ereshkigal, the instruments were put to the land beyond the seas, known as the underworld. Ninurta was assigned, in the mountain land, a band of heaven-earth to establish. On Mars, the Igigi were restless. To pacify them, Marduk was the task given. Until what are the hardships causing? The way station on Mars must be kept. So, to Marduk, the leaders said. The three who the fates decree with each other consulted. They looked at each other. How old the others are, each one of the others thought. Enki, who the death of Adapa was grieving, was the first one to speak. More than 100 Shahs since my arrival have passed. To his brother and sister he said, I was then a dashing leader. Now I am bearded, tired and old I am. An enthusiastic hero I was, for command and adventure ready. Enlil then said, now I have children who have children, all on Earth born. Old on Earth we became, but those on Earth born are even older sooner. So did Enlil to his brother and sister ruefully say. As for me, an old sheep they call me. So did Ninhursag wistfully say. While the others have been coming and going, turns on Earth